Everybody, no case of the Mondays here. There you go. Thank you all so much for tuning in.
Yeah, we've been singing already.
There's a lot going on in our office today. Thank you all so much for tuning in to the PHNX Coyotes Podcast. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Leave us a 5-star review. I'm Leah here with PD and Craig as normal, but we are excited to welcome back for her second appearance on our show a very special guest. First time in our office though, and a woman of many titles. Arizona Coyotes ambassador, radio analyst, Kachinas president, and U.S. Olympian Lyndsey Fry. Welcome to the show, Lyndsey.
Thanks, Leah.
Thanks for joining us.
Sorry for being a little
late.
It's all good. Trying to get the, what is it, my chai latte?
Yeah, I'm sorry I got the ingredients wrong, Lyndsey. I'm really sorry, okay?
It's nearing into Craig and I's bedtime. Like, we like the 11 o'clock hour. It's like late in the afternoon for us. This 3 o'clock show, like, let's go.
Yeah.
It's a little late.
Missed nap time.
I know, I did
Seriously.
too.
Oh my gosh.
We're old.
Oh boy. All right. Well, we have a lot to talk about with you. Obviously, the Rivalry Series. We want to talk Kachinas, women's hockey. But before we get into all of that, obviously, you're a radio analyst for the Coyotes, and this is a Coyotes show. So we kind of want to get your thoughts right off the hop on your thoughts on the Coyotes so far this season.
I think they've been great. I think they've really been delivering on the expectations as far as what, GM Bill Armstrong and Coach Cherney were saying at the beginning. It's all about playing in those meaningful games. You're going to have those flashes where you're like when they played against the Blackhawks, right? 8-1 victory. There's going to be flashes where you're thinking to yourself, maybe this team's really got something. And then there's going to be games where they can't hang on to a lead and sort of that youth and maybe that inexperience in those situations starts to kind of shine through. So I think they're right where they need to be right now. I think, you look at some of the pieces that were added this year, the Sean Durzeys, the Matt Dumbas, I think they are doing their jobs extremely well, kind of filling their role. I think you look at Logan Cooley, obviously there's a lot of eyes on him and he's got a lot of expectations of himself as well. I think he's starting to really come into his own. I think his last couple games have been his best so far this season, not just with the puck, but off the puck, the way he's playing as a true NHL centerman. So overall, it's been a lot of fun to watch. They're a high-energy group, and I think they just need to continue that maturity, learn how to hang on to those leads, play in those tight moments, and we'll see where the season goes.
You talked about expectations for Cooley. Now let's talk about expectations for this team. You've seen it, and we hate to talk about the P word here, but are playoffs a realistic expectation for this team?
It's a really tough question. I think it's going to be interesting to see how they develop and mature over probably the next 10 to 20 games. That's something Coach Andre Tourigny talked about a lot after they were able to pull out a win last week, hold on to that lead against Montreal when they weren't able to do that against the Ducks, against the Kings the week before. For me, that's really the question mark is they're going to be in tight games pretty much every single night. We know that. We know to expect that from this team and with the talent they have. It's whether or not they can take it to the next level and really learn how to win and be able to do that consistently night after night. I'm not sure if we've really seen that yet. We've seen flashes of it. I think we got to see that consistency before we can really make have a true opinion on what the P word, as you said.
Yeah. We've talked a lot about this, how wide open the Western Conference is. I mean, with the exception of the San Jose Sharks, I say that everybody's in it right now.
Yeah.
So, and you don't know past those top few teams who's gonna be in that next group or even the wild cards at this point. So it will be interesting to watch. But a lot else has been going on, and the photo that I used to promote this show today is you taping your stick. I wanted to talk to you about the Travis Dermott decision recently to defy the NHL's ban on the use of Pride tape. A move that many people told me probably pushed this over the finish line and got the league to reverse, to do an about face on what was a terrible decision in the first place. Let's just be honest. What would you say Well, first off, what do you make of Travis Dermott's decision? What was your reaction to all of that? And then I'll ask my follow-up questions.
I thought it was awesome. I thought what was so powerful about it is it wasn't on a Pride night. It wasn't a big name player. It was a guy who genuinely feels that was the right thing to do.
Yeah.
I had the chance to talk to him quite a bit, and he's like, look, I've got friends, I've got family members that this really hits home for. I've got people that I know who are still in the closet because they don't feel comfortable coming out. So if him showing that little strip of support was enormous. And I think if I had to guess, I bet the league was gearing up for that first Pride night, which of course happened to be ours, and mentally preparing for, okay, what are all the what ifs on that night? What are we going to do if X, Y, and Z happens? I don't think that they were necessarily expecting a singular player to come out and do something so subtle on just a random night game. So I think that really kind of sent the message that, hey, this isn't about Pride night, Pride tape. This is about like 365 days out of the year, we have players in this league who want to support the LGBTQ community. And I just give Travis so many props because that could have gone a different direction for him. And he knew that, and he stood by what he believed.
What would you say to critics, Lyndsey, who don't want civil rights issues invading their sports? Yeah.
I just think it's we're so past that as a society. Like anybody who has a platform to say anything, and I don't care who you are, whether it's sports, whether it's in, actors and actresses, whether it's social media influencers, if people have a voice, they as individuals want to be able to use it. Now, I think what the NHL tried to do was maybe rein some of that in and sort of take control back. And in some regards they did. I think the jersey thing, this is not, a very popular opinion with my friend group, but I can live with the jersey thing because at the end of the day, people that did not want to wear it were literally being prevented from participating in warm-ups. Now that's impacting their ability to do their job. So that I'm like, okay, fine. It was the individual expression that I really struggled with. How do you strip that away from any person? Yes, there are always going to be the people who have that opinion. That's fine. That's their opinion. But at the end of the day, these athletes, they are people. They have their own individual opinion. And just because what they do in their day-to-day at work is broadcasted to hundreds of thousands of people, I don't think that should stop them from doing it. It's like my wife used a great example when she first started working at the VA hospital. She really didn't know what the landscape was, and her boss one day wore a Pride lanyard. So subtle, but like just enough for my wife to feel like, oh, I'm comfortable and I can talk to this person. So why can't you have that in the workplace? I think you can.
Okay, flip side, what do you say to supporters who want more? They want to see more because we saw what happened on Pride night. It was pretty subtle that night, right? There were a couple players that wore the jerseys in. Nobody had tape that night. There were things like when we talk about the anthem and other things going on around the arena, but I think some people wanted more.
Yeah, I would have liked to see more. No question about it. I've talked to some people internally about that. I think it's an interesting space right now. I think everybody's trying to figure out what to do. And when I say everyone, that means the players, the coaches, the leadership, the employees. I think I had a lot of people coming up to me who I work with who kind of were in that same boat. Like, how can we do more within the realms that we control? And, for me, that's really what it's about. Like, whoever is at the top of any organization is going to have to try to manage what the head honchos, the NHLs of the world are thinking, the perception. We're trying to get an arena. Like, there's so many things that go into all of that. It's easy for me to sit here and say, well, we should have done this, and this. I'm not in that seat. What I took away from it, though, and what I've always felt about our organization and the people that I work with are the people that come up to me and say, what can I do? How can I support you? How can I show you that I love you and want to be here for you? That's the stuff that the media doesn't see. And I just feel like it's important as someone on the inside to share that. But we're going to see more of it. Other teams are going to have their Pride nights. We're going to see this, I think, kind of stabilize again. I think it was a lot of pressure after Travis and then being the first Pride Night of the league, I think everybody was just kind of like, what do we do here? Yeah. So I'm empathetic to that.
All right, let's move on to talking about the Kachinas, because in 2019 there were 2 girls quasi-travel teams in Arizona.
Yeah, quasi, because you referred to it as that. The travel team might be a stretch to describe what they were at that point, what it was then and what it is now. Go ahead.
Very different, yeah.
Now there's 16 teams and competing for national championships. So how did we get from point A to point B? How did we get here?
Oh gosh, how long is this show?
I mean,
exactly.
We're definitely going to go over your bedtime.
When Petey doesn't talk, it's usually shorter. So.
Okay, got it. All right, we'll just.
Well, I'm interested. I want to see how we got there because I was there when this was through different machinations of what the Kachinas turned out to finally be, and the skill level and age ranges of people on the same ice at the same time was frightening because they just weren't enough participants to put together full teams, and I think that's where it started. Is you just didn't have enough kids participating.
Yeah, it's interesting. So when Matt Shott and I started this, we got to always give our shout out to Maddie. Yeah. When Matt and I started this, we really wanted to be strategic about it. We looked at sort of the landscape at the time, and there were the 2 travel teams, and they were hybrid teams. They had 10-year-olds playing with 12, 13, 14-year-olds, and same thing with the older group. There were actually 2 house teams at the time that were playing out of Scottsdale. And so we were looking at it and we're like, there are other girls. We were, at the time we were looking at like Greg Power's daughter, Isabel, who's an elite player who doesn't play in state, but she's crushing it over in Pittsburgh. And, some of these other, John Slaney's daughter, we're like, man, there are some good girls, but why? What is preventing them from playing girls hockey? So we took sort of a twofold approach. It was one, what is not there currently now from an infrastructure standpoint to keep the girls that are playing, but are playing boys or are leaving the state? Like what do we need to change about what currently exists to keep those that are already here? So that was sort of the top of the pyramid and the retention strategy. The other side of it was the growth side. How do we get more girls playing hockey so we can actually have a sustainable pipeline? Because in the past, we as in the state of Arizona, were depending on the predominantly boys programs to produce our girls players. Well, the incentive isn't there. The motivation isn't there. Not to say that people haven't done great things, but like they're not worried about how are we going to specifically grow girls hockey. So we were very fortunate at the time in 2017. The league was just, getting their feet under them with the Industry Growth Fund, which is a joint fund between the NHL and the NHLPA specifically for growth initiatives. And Matt applied to launch our Small Fries program, brought me on board to build it and run it with him. And that was really the beginning of that base of the pyramid. That was how we were going to get girls who maybe tried our Learn to Play program, but were intimidated by the boys, maybe didn't know if they wanted to keep playing. This was where we were going to put them in an all-girls environment with all-female coaching and really get them comfortable, not only socially, but also with their skills on the ice so that they could get ready to go into a team. So year 1, when we actually pulled the trigger, launched Kachinas, we had, I think it was 9 teams total. We had 4 development teams and 5 travel teams. We call them elite teams. And we had our challenges, no doubt. I mean, at that time, Coyotes Community Ice Center in Mesa, where we play now, didn't exist. So we were begging for any ice time we could get, which had historically been the case for girls hockey. And really any new group, like Alpha's going through it right now. There are a lot of other newer groups going through it. It's part of the evolution. So we would cram for skill sessions. We would cram sometimes 4 teams on the ice and just try to make it work. Wow. And I'm not talking mite teams. I'm talking 19 U's. Yeah. We had practices at 6:30 a.m. at Oceanside, and those were fun. And we made it work. So that was year 1. We actually built off the model that the She-Wolves, which was the house teams out of Scottsdale, had. That's how we built the model for our development program. Is we took that exact same thing. We said, look, it's a win-win for you as the rink. You get to support girls hockey. Just hold 16 spaces in your house league at each level and we'll plug in a girls team. You'll get, financially, you'll get the same reward, same everything, and we'll take care of it all. And that's worked out really well. And our goal year one eventually was to be with our development program. That base of the pyramid was to be at all 4 rinks in the Valley that have house leagues. Last year we met that goal.
Awesome.
So we have girls playing in house leagues at AZ Ice Peoria, AZ Ice Gilbert, and then Ice Den Chandler and Ice Den Scottsdale. So it's really just been a process of chipping away. It's amazing how I look back 5 years ago and we had our list of all the things we wanted to accomplish. And at that time, like some of those things, playing the national championship game by year 3, that's one of those things you write on a vision statement and you're like, all right, this is something we'll maybe work toward.
Yeah.
And the girls freaking did it. Become tier 1 by year 4. I did not expect that to happen. It was Maddie's like dying wish and we got it. So it's been pretty remarkable to see all the checkpoints along the way, and we're still going. Like, just as an example, one of the things we added this year was she hates being called by her real name, but Kaylee Marino, most people know her in the Valley as Gibber. She's someone that I grew up playing with here locally. She's now our college recruitment advisor and our mental performance coach. Like, find me another youth program
that has
a dedicated person for those things. So we're building brick by brick, and if anything, we're running out of ice like everybody else in the Valley, and
we'll get to that in a minute.
That's going to be the only thing that slows this train down. But it's been really rewarding.
How old were you when you left the Valley to continue your hockey career? Like, how old were you when you left? And knowing the way the program is run now, would that future have looked different for you as a child?
Yeah, good question. So I left, I think, when I was about 13, and I did a hybrid. I was going back and forth to Colorado. So my first year, I actually played girls hockey in Colorado. I was also playing on my boys' bantam team here. And that was heartbreaking because I was the captain of my team. We were tier 2, and I had to choose. So if you're double rostered on a boys and a girls tier team, you have to choose which one you're going to compete at districts and nationals. And I just remember sitting in the ice den watching my boys team lose the state championship, and as captain, it just ate me up inside. But they understood. They knew that the girls side was going to have more potential for me. But so as far as how it would look now, it's tough to say. Your perspective when you're a kid is always so different. Like I look back to my Colorado team. We were always the underdog. I mean, we were one of the few teams. It was like us, Lady Ducks, and LA Select. That was like it out west as far as like true tier 1 teams. And I loved being on that team that nobody expected to win. We'd go back east, and there were a few of us that were D1 caliber players, and it was so fun. So I imagine that's kind of where we're at right now. Again, perception of a 15-year-old to a 31 now is different. But yeah, I think we have something that really allows girls who want to compete at a high level to develop right here in Arizona.
It's fantastic. And you also had the Kachina name before the Coyotes went back to it full time. So you were kind of the leaders. They were following you.
We felt that was going to be the case. We wanted to make sure we beat some of the co-ed programs to that. So
to that logo. Fantastic.
Yeah.
All right, so we've got the Kachinas, we've got ASU's ACHA team, GCU launched a team, U of A is launching a team. You and I talked about this. I want to get into this idea of an alliance, of working toward the same goal and how you accomplish that. So let's start there, how that all came about. You mentioned some of this earlier, but...
Sure. So, I think one of the things that we started to realize, and when I say we, I mean, myself and the AHA, which is our USA Hockey governing body here, as well as the college programs, was that, hey, we really all want the same thing. Like, we want, as the Kachinas, we want girls hockey to grow, but we also want women's collegiate hockey to grow here. It gives the girls an opportunity to see what that next step is like. They get to experience college tours right here in Arizona. They get to go watch college hockey games. They have people to look up to, all those things. And it just gives them more opportunity right here at home that I didn't have growing up.
Right.
I think the first college hockey game I saw was when I was like 16. So I just had no idea. And then on the flip side, like they want a local recruiting pipeline. They want to be able to come and see when we host tournaments, when we host league weekends. They want to be connected to be able to come and scout and see not just Kachinas players, but players from all over the country. And, you know, I think I told Craig this jokingly, but, you know, the women's hockey world is small. It's fairly microscopic here in the desert. And, you know, there were some moments where maybe some personalities didn't always mesh. And we finally decided, like, we cannot fall into the trap of women getting in their own way. We have to find a way to just get over whatever the personality differences are, whatever the competing interests are, and we have to work together, because otherwise, what are we doing here? Yeah. And that's when we created the Arizona Female Hockey Alliance, which now serves as the girls and women's committee for AHA. And really anything, you know, that's driven by the state, driven by USA Hockey, goes through us. And we work through different ways that, one, we can help grow girls and women's hockey in the desert, but also figure out how we can leverage each other and lift each other up. So whether that's, you know, we do Kachina nights at the college programs. We offer them, come out, recruit. Hey, come do a college visit. Our girls get to go do college tours. It's a really cool synergy. And at the end of the day, like that's always what Matt and I wanted to build. We wanted to build an ecosystem. We didn't want just the one-off team here and there when we had enough girls. We wanted it to be, when you are 5 years old, you come in, you play girls, you play Kachinas, and when you're done, guess what? You can go to college here. When you're done with that, guess what? You can play in the Kachinas Women's Hockey League. It is a great freaking time. And it's just been it's been really cool to see it all kind of come together.
Are you satisfied with the collegiate options now? Would you like to see more? And is there the possibility of more, like when nobody saw ASU men's program going D1 a few years back and suddenly here it is?
Yeah, I mean, I would love nothing more than to see one of the Arizona teams eventually go NCAA, whether that's D1 or D3. Time will tell. I think, you know, a lot of people are like, well, the men's team went D1. That took a lot of money.
$32 million.
There's also a lot of men's programs that are closer, like DU, for example. Denver doesn't have a women's D1 program. Right. The closest you're getting is like Ohio, Wisconsin, Minnesota.
Oh
Minnesota's probably the closest D1 program. So there are, you know, different costs and challenges with that. But I think it'd be awesome to see them eventually go NCAA. A lot of our girls strive for that, and it's not at all a knock on ACHA. I tell people all the time, top ACHA programs can beat lower level NCAA programs, and high level D3 NCAA programs can probably beat lower level D1 NCAA programs. It's just the way the spectrum rolls. And but it's been cool to see. We've had a lot of girls commit to U of A. We've had plenty go to GCU. We've had some go to ASU. But we've also had a lot of girls who are now thriving playing D3 elsewhere. And we actually just had our first girl commit D1. She ended up opting to leave and go play in Canada this year. But, you know, for us, we look at it as a huge win, because where was she playing the last several years during her
Where's she going?
Development recruiting? It's a new school, and I got to be honest, I can't remember the name of it. But it was just announced.
Petey, it's not Harvard. I'll tell you that.
It's not Harvard.
You two bougie guys at that end of the table.
I got a lot of...
Craig went to prep school, too, so he's pretty bougie, too.
Well, that's very bougie.
It is very bougie.
Yeah, we have a lot of girls that aspire to go to Harvard, which I'm very proud of.
That's very nice.
Hopefully one of them gets there.
Yeah. But it's just great that they have options. And then
Totally.
I always tell kids, boys, girls, just play as long as you can keep playing. Like,
Absolutely.
it doesn't matter where or what, D1, ACH, just play.
Yep.
If you want to play, this is a great sport, just play.
Yep.
And it doesn't matter if you're playing adult leagues, or just go play.
Yeah.
So I'm so happy that kids have an opportunity to play here in Arizona, and that I love to see the ACHA get more teams involved here. I think it's fantastic for hockey.
I was really excited to see U of A get a women's team because I went there. So it's just cool to see the growth. Okay, well, we still have so much to get into. We're going to talk about the Rivalry Series and probably a little bit about your time as an Olympian as well. So it's tons more to get to. But before all of that, I'm excited because we have a new partner.
We do.
And it's Desert Financial Credit Union. This one's exciting because for more than 84 years, Desert Financial has been Arizona's largest, most trusted local credit union. They also have personalized cards you can get, ASU ones and Cardinals ones. Yeah, so you can get personalized debit card for that. You can look to Desert Financial for checking and savings account, mortgage, loans, credit cards, investment options, everything you need from a bank. So right now, when you open a free checking account online, you can get $200 in bonuses. Get started by visiting desertfinancial.com/200. Okay, we have the answer from Sam. Keeley Callender, St. Michael's College in Vermont.
Yeah. Sam Brennan, always just coming in hot, saving the day. Thanks Sam.
Awesome.
Vermont's a good spot too.
Yeah.
So.
All right.
Yeah, and the other thing too, since we're talking about getting older and playing adult hockey, the other thing when you play adult hockey, you should check out Hero Bread because it is low net carbs, zero sugar, and it keeps your cholesterol down because we know I have cholesterol problems. So I am all about the Hero Bread with seeds. Now, seeds might not be for everybody because there's pumpkin seeds and there's
plenty of
big
options
seeds.
Though.
So there are other options that are seedless that are fantastic. But if you want to lower your total net carbs, check out Hero Bread. And here's Leah with more.
Right now, I don't even know. Right now, Hero Bread is offering listeners 10% off their first order.
Say here's Shane with more.
Also Jacob's laughing, so it's making me laugh.
I can't see Jacob.
Hero Bread is offering listeners 10% off their first order. Just go to hero.co and use code PHNX to save on Hero Bread today. That's HERO.co to save 10%.
And you will not believe how similar this tastes
to
traditional bread.
Too. So
tortillas.
Good.
I made the enchiladas with their tortillas. They're
so
low
good.
net carbs tortillas. Actually, they are zero net carbs on those. So loved them.
All
fantastic.
Right.
Great option. Keep those sugars down and the net carbs.
Keep those sugars down.
Just saying.
Oh my gosh.
Last thing I need is more sugar.
Yeah. All right. We were talking about some of the challenges you face with further growth, and this is a familiar refrain for Arizona hockey at all levels. The availability of ice. And it's hitting you, I would imagine, a lot harder than some others because you have the one sheet.
Yeah. Yeah, it's it's definitely limiting us with what we can do on the travel side of things, no question. It's amazing. That one sheet, you'd be shocked how many different user groups are scrapping for ice there. We obviously are fortunate to be able to use most of it, but Junior Sun Devils rent some ice there. Alpha's in there. They have an adult league. The Bucks are in there, and it's kind of a grind. But the nice thing for us is the way that our house league format is structured. We do still have some room for growth there, as long as the partnerships with the rinks continue to be strong, which I have no reason to think they won't be. So right now we have at Ice Den, Scottsdale, we've got 3 teams. They play in the Mite Squirt Pee-wee divisions. We've got a Mite and a Squirt team at Chandler, and then we've got Mite teams at Peoria and Gilbert. So moving forward, it's okay. How do we get a Squirt team in Gilbert and in Peoria? I have a lot of people that would love a Chandler Pee-wee team, but we've got 2 12U teams and a 14U team. We have 3 14U teams on the travel side. So
incredible that there's that many kids playing.
It's trying to not, you have to be careful to find that mix of creating the right opportunities for the kids without cannibalizing different opportunities. So it's a strategic game, and I love that I get to use my MBA to figure out girls hockey. It's great.
How much, and I know USA Hockey isn't going to build the arenas, obviously. Somebody else has to fund that, but how much are you talking with them? It seems like they're well aware. I think when I did the story maybe 3 years ago, Arizona has the highest per capita use of ice, most amount of kids per sheet of any state in the country, which tells you how badly
we need more
sheets.
And you'll hear that from not just the girls programs, travel programs, adult programs, learn to skate programs. Everybody's just, they want ice.
So do you talk to USA Hockey, about this problem? Are they offering any potential solutions? It's always about money, obviously. And
yeah, I think the hard thing about us is, all of our rinks here are privately owned.
Yeah.
I think where some of the other states are fortunate, and I'm not talking about the Minnesotas. I'm talking about like New Mexico. I mean, the rink in Rio Rancho, I'm pretty sure is Parks and Rec. The rink in Santa Fe is Parks and Rec.
Wow.
They have the private rink that's in Albuquerque, where their junior team plays out of. But I mean, for us, it is all privately owned, and I think that makes it a little tough because you're not going to have the city of Chandler suddenly popping up a new facility. So it's really about who wants to come in and run it. And one of the things that I've talked to some of these up and coming user groups about when they're like, well, we're all fighting for ice, so clearly there's enough for another rink. And I'm like, well, yes, but think about that. So realistically, right now you get 2 hours of ice. How many are you actually going to buy? Well, we'd buy 4 a week if we could. I'm like, okay, well, so you're taking 4 a week. Somebody else is maybe adding another 4. Like that doesn't fill a new building. So there is that sensitivity with building another sheet. I hope one day I know nothing about this. This is truly just my personal opinion. I'd love to see Chandler eventually buy that plot of land or part of it that has been sitting there since I was 6 years old and build a third sheet. Yeah. But yeah, we'll see.
It's funny though, because you talk about these other municipalities, and I'm from Minnesota, so I know the cities.
You're from Minnesota?
I don't know if you knew that, but that's from Minnesota. But the cities own the rinks. The municipalities, the high school has their own rink, and one of the things that does is it brings costs down, and the cost for ice here is outrageous because they're money-making facilities, and I think people always ask me, why is it so expensive? And if the cities own the rinks and you're just trying to break even, it makes the ice much more affordable, and unfortunately, that's not going to ever happen here. It's
hard because it's, unlike in Minnesota. Think about the electricity costs here to operate these things. Like if I'm a city and I'm looking at the books, am I going to build an ice rink or am I going to build 100 pickleball courts that probably more of my constituents are going to use? So It's not going to happen. One of those rinks in New Mexico almost closed after COVID because they were like, we could use this space for something else. Fortunately, that didn't happen, which is great. But it's a battle, and ice costs are real. This summer was absolutely brutal, as we all know, and ice was a little sloshy around the rinks.
I'll bet. It's interesting. You mentioned how much rinks need. I was looking it up in the story that I wrote. It's 30 hours per week to remain viable per sheet. So that's what you're talking about, sales. But then I look at a place like Tucson that has no permanent ice sheets. We keep hearing about triple ice sheets at Keno. It's coming. They have those poor kids are commuting where? To Mesa, to Chandler, to Gilbert to play hockey. It's insane. Or you have someone coming from Yuma, right?
We do.
What?
We've got Emma P coming from Yuma. She's
oh my God.
She's historically a roller hockey player because they do have roller hockey down in Yuma. But yeah, she commutes.
Craig and I wouldn't go across town to it, would we, Craig? Craig, no.
I used to, but
not now.
Are there players from Tucson coming up?
We have several players from Tucson. We got several players from Flagstaff. We used to have one from I think Prescott.
It's crazy.
But it's amazing what these families will do for something that their daughter loves. I mean, I think about it. My parents put me on a plane twice a month to go play in Colorado or wherever our team is playing. So it's we're trying to figure out ways eventually. Like I'd love someday if that Tucson rink gets built to create some sort of satellite Kachinas option.
Fantastic.
But that's in the 10-year plan.
But I think that what that does too is you get more in the West, you get more in Vegas, more in LA, and now you're not flying to Detroit and Pittsburgh and New York. Now your costs are coming down. And I don't want to bring it all about cost, but it is something. If you have a Tucson that's competitive and it just adds more games locally, and you can drive to games instead of getting on a plane all the time. So that
has been a huge improvement this year. Like we are playing more in-state games than ever before. We put some of our younger teams back in the local co-ed league, which didn't make sense a few years ago. Now it makes sense because our talent has gotten better. I get out there occasionally, Petey. Yeah.
Buddy.
I played with the alumni a few weeks ago.
Did you? We have to put you in goal again.
No, hell no. That was last time.
Petey pulled
Never
his
doing it
groin
again.
last time he
Never
put on
doing
the
it again.
pads.
Like,
Yeah, I know.
Like what? Shot 3 against Clayton
Yeah,
County,
hurt my
groin, and you're out.
Yeah, but you get on with the kids all the time.
Yeah.
Like your feet.
Officially, I am an assistant coach for our
Wow.
Chandler
Look at
8U
you.
team. Yeah.
Are you a yeller screamer? I see you being a yeller screamer. No,
Only
I'm kidding.
positive yeller screamer.
I know.
I am very vocal, and I usually repeat myself 2 or 3 times with everything that I
That's a good
say. But I
Drive
it's
the
all
message home.
positive. All positive. If I
Fantastic.
get quiet,
Then you're concerned?
That's a
That's when you
problem.
know
Well, I'm gonna go
something's
watch.
going wrong.
I'm gonna keep that in mind
I
in
know.
the
Yeah.
future. Okay.
Oh yeah, if
my
I'm just
God.
real
If you're
quiet
just
with you,
looking at
Craig.
me like, All right, let's switch over to the Rivalry Series, which will be here on Wednesday at 7:30, U.S. and Canada at Mullett Arena. As a former Olympian, what does the Valley's inclusion in this tournament mean to you?
It's awesome.
Yeah.
I think, first let's talk about what it actually is for
Sure.
people that maybe don't know. So the Rivalry Series did not exist when I was playing. The way that the national teams work is you've got your world championships for all the non-Olympic years. And then, of course, that 4-year cycle, you get the Olympics. Previously, it was you would play a series of games like this, but just in that Olympic year, just leading up to the Olympics. Otherwise, it was, you were waiting for kind of the one-off tournament or event to be able to play against Team Canada. Now, with the Rivalry Series, it not only creates an opportunity for the players to be able to get into that mindset, put their jerseys on, play against, the best competition in the world, feel that rivalry, get comfortable with it before you take a 20-year-old who's literally never played on the senior national team and just throw them in a game against Team Canada. This is an opportunity to really test out what you've got and allow people to get comfortable with it. But more importantly for us, it creates that exposure. It creates the opportunity for the girls who aren't going to be able to go to Utica, New York this year to watch the World Championships or ever get to go watch an Olympics in person.
Yeah.
They get to see it in their backyard. I think it's so cool that, they've gone to Seattle, they've gone to LA, they've gone to Anaheim, they've gone to Vegas. Like, now they're here. Those are intentional decisions by USA Hockey to figure out how can we leverage this to help grow the game and get people excited about women's hockey.
And more to that point, we talked about it being aspirational, right? You watched Shane Doan. That was your role model when you were growing up.
He's all right.
Yeah, he's okay. I mean, he's a decent role model. Yeah, but these girls have women to look up to now, right? That's for me. That's the impact of this event.
It's huge, and that's what I've really been trying to communicate with our families. Who, it's a lot. It's one more thing you got to go to. It's one more night away from your family, whatever. But I'm like, look, guys, this could be the closest your daughter ever comes to watching an Olympic gold medal game. That is essentially what this is, because I can promise you the compete level is going to be there. I think that's one of the interesting things about the fact that they sort of plug different players in every time. You're fighting for your spot on this team to try to make it to Utica this year and play on the World Championship team. Every single time those women are out there, it is like absolutely scratching and clawing, trying to not only be on the team, but also trying to beat Team Canada and, get those bragging rights, get that momentum going into Worlds. So you're never going to see better women's hockey. I think it's really cool and significant too. Sometimes I think we've almost conditioned our families too much to expect this kind of stuff. Like we had a girl once, she's like one of our 12U players, and we had Shelly Picard, Megan Bozak, two women that I played on the Olympic team with here last year. And I guess her mom was like, yeah, we've got, so-and-so coming. And her daughter's like, well, yeah, Mom, we have Olympians come every year. Like, which on one hand, you're like, that's kind of awesome that these Arizona kids feel that way, because we've brought the PWHPA here. We had the PHF championships here last year. We've brought Olympians in. This is coming this year. So, I don't want anyone to question or not fully understand how big of a deal this is.
Well, I have two things, because one, when you were playing, it was Canada-US. I mean, that really was it. Now, there's starting to be parity in women's hockey worldwide. You're starting to see some players coming from all over the world, which is great. My question is, these games are going to be highly contested. Like you said, the emotion, anytime it's USA and Canada, I don't care if it's pickup hockey.
Yep.
It's USA versus Canada. You're playing. Like, it's for real. When the game is over, like, a lot of you play on the same university teams. A lot of you have played with each other for 10, 15 years. You're friendly. Is the relationship off the ice different than it is on the ice with these young ladies?
Yeah, you're always going to have some that you have good relationships with off the ice. There's going to be some that you still can't stand.
Yeah.
Like, I had a few who, when I was playing at Harvard, our rival was Cornell, and a bunch of those women were on the Canadian national team. Oh, and some of them I just absolutely
That's unreal.
Hated. But then a lot of them you do develop really good friendships with because you either played in college with them or they're. Go back to our pride conversation earlier. Yeah, 2 of them are married now. There are a few that have
Canadian and American to each other?
Oh,
Can't do that.
Yeah. Julie Chu, Carolyn Mullett, 2 of the most legendary names in the game. They've got 2 kids. They've actually come down to Arizona a couple times and have skated with us. But yeah, it's it's kind of wild.
We've got we're dominating. We have 3 Americans and a Canadian here. So clearly, Craig and I are going to the game. You're going to be at the game on Wednesday.
Yep.
Clearly, I'm.
A lot of people in our chat are going.
I'm sorry. I know we're not supposed to cheer from the press box, but I will be rooting for the red, white, and blue.
Well,
let's go.
You have my permission.
Roaring Fork said the rink's going to be 50-50 on Wednesday.
Yeah, that could be. There's a lot of Canadians here because the weather in the United States is better, so they come here. Yep. If you put it up in Canada, they're not going to be half Americans. Why the hell would we go?
Could turn them away at the door.
Why would we go?
Just a suggestion.
Gosh.
They're here in America.
Oh my God. But Christina said we're taking our 6-year-old daughter on Wednesday.
Oh, Christina
so
and
that's
Joel.
Really cool. Yeah.
Delilah's going?
Yeah. That's
cool. Delilah's amazing. Yeah. That's great. Have fun, Delilah.
It's just
Say
cool.
hi.
It's just cool to see those role I don't know. Even for me growing up in Canada, I just don't even remember ever having that access to watch.
I think it's going to be great. And are we going to put the link somewhere?
I put the link in the chat already.
Well, see, I don't follow the chat, Leah.
We know.
What are you doing?
Link for tickets in the chat. Definitely. If you get a chance to go. Plus, you get a chance to go check out the Mullett. If you haven't been to the Mullett too, that's getting to see any games in the Mullet's exciting. So.
And can I add one more thing to this game? Because a lot of people are like, oh yeah, we'll take our daughters, we'll take our sisters, we'll take our moms.
Bring your boys.
Yes.
Bring your boys. And if you are a hockey fan, if you're an NHL fan, collegiate fan, I don't care. This is an opportunity to really understand what the best of the best for women's hockey looks like. I promise you, it'll be faster than you expect.
Mm-hmm.
I guarantee it'll be more physical than you expect. It's not unheard of that a fight breaks out between these 2 teams. Not that I'm a proponent of that, but it does tend to happen.
Have you ever been in one?
No, Craig, I am a lover, not a fighter. I stand on the bench and watch, at that time, the Lamoureux twins just get after it. But
North Dakota background there, the Lamoureux girls.
So, but I want to really
suit.
encourage people to come watch because it's going to change the way you view women's hockey if you've never seen it in person before.
For me, it's socializing boys too. Get used to seeing women competing. Get used to them going at it. Just normalize it.
Yeah.
Enough of this. Anyway, I won't get on my soapbox. I want to get back to your time as an Olympian. Do you have some favorite memories, anecdotes from your time as an Olympian? Anything that jumps out?
Where were you? Where were the Olympics the year you went?
Sochi, Russia.
Oh
Which actually, it's funny because I was telling my story and giving a little speech to a bunch of 5th graders the other day. And I was trying to get them to respond with what they thought the temperature in Russia was. But I said, when you guys think of Russia, what do you think?
Oh, no.
Very quickly realized that this not the time right now to ask that question. I got a lot of thumbs down. And I was like, no, the temperature.
Yeah.
Anyway, favorite memories. Gosh, it's so funny because my absolute favorite memory happened before we even got there. It was very much like Miracle. They took 25 of us. We had to be down to 21 by January 1st when they were announcing it to the world. And a few days before Christmas, we were actually playing at University of North Dakota against Canada. A fight did break out there. Again, I was not in it. Not a part of it. Nope. So we get back to the hotel after that, and everybody was leaving the next day to go home for the holidays. And we get back to the hotel and realize that a couple of our teammates aren't there.
No.
And we're like, oh my gosh, this is it. And our coaches come in and they read
The roster.
the roster. My name was on it, and they said, this is the 2014 Olympic team. So the first thing I did was, I went back up to my room, and I think I talked to myself in the mirror. But then I called my brother, and Wes is about 2.5 years younger than me.
Mhm.
So he would have been like 18 at the time. So I call Wes. I was like, Wes, I made the team. Don't tell mom and dad. And he's like, what? I'm like, no. Don't tell mom and dad. Because in my family on Christmas Eve, we always do some sort of performance. You can do a song, a dance, a poem, a skit, whatever you want. Like since before I was born, this has been a tradition. So I was like, I want to tell him on Christmas Eve in a skit. So I get home, and my poor mother, like my family's booked rooms, travel, everything. So my mom is like, yeah. So I thought they would have announced it by now. Like, oh, what do you think is going on? And I was like, I don't know, Mom, because we had one more game before New Year's Day. I was like, they probably just want to watch the defense. I think I'm fine. Like, I was just lying through my teeth. So we get to Christmas Eve, and we get out there. My brother's got like this, sack over his shoulder, pretending to be Santa. And I was like, oh, Santa, do you have something for me? He goes, yeah. So I pull it out, and it's this poster. And I look at it. And then I look at the other side and I say, this says 2 Team Fry. I said, that's all of them. I go, can I give it to them? He says, yeah. And I reach over and play the like, dun, 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 dun. And I turn it around and it said, we did it with the Olympic rings.
Oh my God.
And it was,
chills.
Oh, my mom, I'll never forget. She was like sitting right where you are, Craig. And she's like, how do you know that? So she couldn't even get it out. And then my little 4-foot grandma in the back is like, there's a video I'll have to show you guys someday. It's awesome.
Oh my God.
I tell people that all the time.
That's awesome.
Like truly, that moment right there was the highlight of my entire Olympic experience, because a little girl from the desert of Arizona, especially at that time, was never supposed to make an Olympic ice hockey
Arizona.
Team. And it was because of the people in that room that day that it happened.
Phenomenal.
So that's my
Wow.
favorite.
And the second best day is the day you got the swag bag.
Yeah. Oh,
Buddy.
yeah. We got those in Germany. Flew to Germany. Got our
Nothing
swag
better
bag.
than the red, white, and blue. Sorry, red, white, and black. But the red, white, and blue is fire.
Yeah.
I don't care. Anything that says USA on it, I'm in.
You got those. We got the really funky Ralph Lauren.
It was a
Opening
Ralph Lauren
ceremony.
year.
Like that year.
Yeah, the opening ceremonies. Yeah.
buddy.
Wow.
We didn't
I
even
know
get to
it's
wear them. We didn't walk openings.
Oh, because you had to play.
Yeah, we played the next day.
So it's 120. I'd be rocking that shit down Mill Avenue right now. Guarantee it. My Ralph Lauren, I don't care.
Oh, yeah.
120 leaking.
You can borrow mine.
Got the long coat going.
Probably
Yeah,
still smells like Russia.
I was on the Olympic team, by the way. For sure. I'm on the Olympic team.
my gosh.
just in case.
That's
We'll see you at the game. Can't wait for
Yeah.
Wednesday.
But you did closing ceremonies, right?
We did closing, although that was like a little,
Oh,
You wanna go
that's,
home
that's a little tough. Like,
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
it was. Don't get me wrong. It was incredible, and I will cherish that moment forever. It is a little hard when
Yes.
you're salty and you.
Yeah.
It's so hard winning a
Second.
silver medal. You have to lose a game to win a silver medal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still, not many people can say they have an Olympic
Exactly.
medal, so
Craig,
Exactly.
no.
that's unbelievable.
Did you bring your medal?
Yeah, it's over there. It's in a really
We'll tweet it out. Can we
Just
tweet it out?
screw-
Yeah,
after?
well,
box.
Yeah. Well, you guys are gonna do ads, so
well, we can get
grab
it. Yeah, why don't we get it? And I'll tell everybody about Arizona's Family Sports. Yeah, we can go get the medal. So Arizona's Family Sports is the home for the Phoenix Suns this season. Their games have been awesome so far on the network.
Have
And
they
they
been
take
awesome,
on.
though?
Well, not
The game itself
the
has
game
not been
itself,
awesome.
but the production.
Gotcha.
Great.
Just checking.
So we got the Bulls game this Wednesday on Arizona's Family Sports, and you can check it out on channel 3, 3.5, 44. If you have an antenna, if you have cable, you can watch it wherever you live in Arizona. You can visit azfamily.com and click Suns Games for listing information for your area. AZ Family is a great resource to help you find Phoenix Suns games on Arizona Family Sports. We're also super excited about.
I don't know about you, but
Oh,
I feel
You feel good?
I feel good.
I feel good too, PD. I feel good about
You
our
should
partner,
do you.
Gila River
God.
Resorts and Casinos. And we'll be out there this weekend for
We
the
will?
PHNX Cardinals
Oh,
game
yeah.
watch party.
Home game watch parties are out at
By the way, like,
Wild Horse Pass.
yeah, so Jacob was out there at the last one. They
Yeah.
have, it's like a bay, a golf, what's it called? The Top Golf, like golfing bays, but it's all like Swing Suite. That's what it's called.
But it's all digital?
Yeah, it's all
So I
digital.
don't have to walk?
Yep, you don't have to be
Perfect.
outside. pretty cool.
Sign me up.
And they, of course, Gila River Resorts and Casinos, they just a great place to go there. They have locations all over the valley. Check them out. And PD, I'm not even kidding.
Yeah.
You do you.
You do you.
At Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Visit playatgila.com for more details. All right. We can go back. Actually, let's go on Lyndsey Cam because we got the medal.
Please.
Oh, look at Ricky D, by the way. That's really
No,
nice.
what is it?
Is it Rick DuPont?
Yeah.
This is unreal.
Hi, Rick.
Look at the size of that thing, first of all. Like, I picked up the box. It's heavy. You guys should feel the weight of this thing.
That is phenomenal.
Oh, my God. That is way heavier
Listen,
than I thought.
The Russians made it. They were really trying to go big.
That is phenomenal.
If you guys remember, Sochi was it was a question mark of whether the venues were even going to be built in time.
Yeah.
And
wasn't the weather untraditionally warm at the time
Fabulous.
too?
It was like
Fantastic.
60 degrees and sunny.
Jimmy
Arizona
O'Neill's
girl
going there.
was pumped.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
Awesome. It was like right on the Black Sea. That's actually why they look like this. So fun
It's
little history
really
lesson. Cool. This glass piece here. So this is supposed to represent the Black Sea.
Okay.
But what was so interesting about Sochi is you looked out one direction, you saw the Black Sea. You turned around and off in the distance, you see these big, beautiful white mountains, and that's what the
Oh, that's really cool.
this part's supposed to represent.
How long were you there?
Like
3
a month.
weeks? Yeah.
Oh yeah, we were there about a month.
Wow.
It's so funny. You really want to have a show about the Olympics? Have my family on the show.
Yeah. Oh, because they went.
There was my experience,
and
then there was my family's experience, which included living on a cruise ship for a month.
No hotels.
The hotels were question mark. They were going to be built. They rode foldable bikes around everywhere. They interacted with the Sochi stray dogs.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
Derek Stepan brought one home.
Yeah, they were all kind. They had a time.
I mean, we need to have that Olympic show.
What was it like living in the Olympic Village?
Honestly, it was awesome. There was a lot of bad press going around because the media's accommodations apparently were not great. Ours were fine. Everything did smell like glue though, and there were like some
because it's just getting
screws.
built.
Oh yeah, it was.
Oh,
like,
that's right.
They just finished.
No doorknobs.
But one of the things I thought was funny was it was like shaped like a U. So there was all the dorms here, and then on the other side of the U was like the rec room and the dining hall and all that. Well, in between, when they had been showing us what to expect, the original plans were, it was supposed to be like this beautiful bird sanctuary. It was a swamp. They didn't finish the bird sanctuary. So we would literally walk. It was like this little pathway across the U and then just like swamp. And I'm talking.
It's like the Lord of the Rings, the dead
literally.
marshes.
It was wild. And I'm like,
Wow.
that did not make the cut on the priority list.
Oh my God.
That's incredible. I can't even imagine. We're all so proud of you,
Thank you.
as Arizonans
Thank
and
you.
hockey players and American. Well, as Americans, we're proud.
I'm a dual citizen.
Okay, well then you can be proud too.
Half of her is
Give me
proud.
half proud of it.
Yeah,
give me half proud.
I'll take it.
I've also, there's a picture of me as a little girl wearing a silver medal on my,
Seriously?
Yeah, I think it was a figure skating one, yeah. So I'll have to dig that up and tweet it later.
It's just unreal.
Yeah,
Thank
it's
you.
so cool. That's
Well,
so
I will also, I just got to throw this in before that the Sochi Olympics is also the first time the men's curling team won a medal, and that was the team from Bemidji, Minnesota. Way to go, Pete Fenson, bringing home the bronze medal from the Sochi Olympics in men's curling.
I have a story about that. I don't
The
know how
men's
much time we
curlers?
have.
Oh, yeah.
men's
That-
curlers?
Well, okay.
A curling story.
Did you guys go
Here
to
we
the curling?
If you're friends with, no, I didn't get to go to any
Yeah, I went to
other
high school with
events.
Pete.
Okay.
I was on his curling team
Was
in
he the
juniors.
captain?
He was a
Oh,
skip.
then you're really going to appreciate this.
Yeah, Pete's the
So-
skip. Now he's the voice of NBC Olympics curling.
Okay, so
Oh no, Pete.
no, it's not bad. I just so
I'm sure he's listening
we're
up in
sitting
Bemidji.
we're sitting in like the main area of the dorms, just kind of the common room, and I'm chit chatting with some people and chit chatting with this guy, and I'm like, I have no idea really who he is.
Sure.
He doesn't really know who I am, and we're just talking about nothing, and I'm thinking like, he doesn't really look like an athlete. He I'm like, oh, he must be a doctor or a trainer or whatever. And it took me till the end of the conversation to realize that he was
skip. of the curling.
Captain of the curling team. And I was like, wow, I'm terrible.
Yeah.
So now that I know you know him, send him my love and tell him I am sincerely sorry for doubting him.
Who's got the gym in his house. He's fit. He's a fit guy, but he's a little bit older than they were.
That's
older.
The thing. It was like older. It wasn't like he wasn't.
No, it's just older.
He's not like big, bulky, whatever. Nope. It was like, you look like you could be a trainer.
They had good fit though. Their drip for curlers.
Oh yeah.
The American curlers that year, the drip was fire because they had the quarter zips. Buddy, go back to the quarter zips. Pete, I'll send this to Pete after. That's great.
Okay. Please don't. Edit.
Okay.
Edit.
Oh my gosh.
No, Pete, go eat Dave's Pizza and you can see Olympic Curler in Bemidji, Minnesota on Irvin and 15th. Pete's.
Yeah.
It's called Dave's Pizza, but he's Pete. And he owns it.
Lord.
All right.
There.
Coming back around.
Coming back around. I'm not even sure how to segue out of that.
I don't know if you need to. Let's go to the game.
Well, I want to bring up one other thing here.
Okay.
The Rivalry Series isn't the only upcoming event for the Kachinas. We know that Matt Shott was instrumental helping the Kachinas. A lot of us were friends with Matt.
Yep.
And we miss him terribly. Tell us about the Matt Shott Memorial Tournament. That's coming up really soon, right?
Yeah,
November
this weekend.
Yeah.
This weekend. So, for people that maybe don't know Matt, he was our co-founder, longtime lead of our entire hockey development department for the Coyotes. And, if you go to any rink in town now, you'll see Shott 94 hanging on a banner there. That's how important he was to this hockey community. We've wanted to do a tournament for a long time. He wanted to do a tournament for a long time. And it's really hard, as you guys might know, to start something new like that, because people want, if they're going to spend their money to go to a tournament and fly somewhere, they want it to be reputable. And this year it was just kind of the right time to be able to brand it that way. I think that helped bring in a lot of people when they were like, this is for Matt, because he had that type of impact. It was national. And when people saw, oh, this is the Matt Shott Classic, we want in. So anyway, we're really excited about it. We've got, I think, 5 different divisions that are going to play. Like 25 to 30 teams are going to be in town.
That's fantastic.
Wow.
Which is, incredible. We're going to be playing at, I think, Gilbert Mason Arcadia. One day, I'd love for it to be as big as the President's Day tournament, where we're kind of taking over all the rinks for the weekend. Yeah. But it's going to be awesome. His mom's flying in on Sunday, so she's gonna be here for that. And there are so many things that you want to do to remember Matt, and these are the things he actually would care about.
That's fair.
There's like, I've got some flowers that are still hanging on from when he passed at my house. That he doesn't care about, but a tournament in his name, he's fist pumping for that. Yeah. So it's going to be great. And it's all girls.
And when you look at Matt, the one thing, if he could see what this program has become now, this is what he wanted it to be. And he worked so tirelessly, and it wasn't for the money. It wasn't for the notoriety. It was to get more kids to play hockey.
Yep.
And he fought that battle till the day he died. He really did.
Literally. Like, when I say it was his dying wish, I was in hospice with him, and he's sitting there talking to me about the Tier 1 application. I'm like, I had to be like, Maddie, I got it.
Yeah.
I promise I will not let you down. But that's what he wanted to keep talking about.
Lyndsey, is there somewhere that people, if anybody wants to go see some of those games, that they can look online somewhere to find out when those games are, the schedule is? Or could you get us that, and we'll make sure we tweet it out before the end of the week?
Yeah, so we've partnered with a group called Rush Hockey that's actually going to manage the tournament, so it'll definitely be on their website. If you want to come watch Kachina's games specifically, those you can find on our ArizonaKachinas.com website. But it's going to be rocking.
That's awesome. Support the local teams.
Yeah, absolutely. I have one more question. You talked about kind of what your and Matt's vision was when you set out to start the Kachinas and all the things you've achieved. So now that you're at this point in 2023 and we've seen everything you achieve, what's kind of the next thing? What is, like, when you look 5 years from now you want to accomplish with the Kachina program?
Gosh. Well, more ice definitely plays a role in that answer, but I think it's almost a good thing. Like, I'm really trying to spin the capacity issues as a positive, because, for so many years it's been grow, grow, grow. Now I think it can really be, okay, let's get like really in the trenches with the experience. How do we make this even better for the girls that are already here? What can we add? Okay, we added a tournament. Awesome. We have girls playing in more local and regional leagues. Awesome. We've got the Leighton Fund, which helps provide financial assistance to families. I think
it's the Rivalry Series.
We got the Rivalry Series coming. I think it's really just how do we now. We're never forgetting about growth. Like I said, we want to see it grow within the house leagues, but how are we now improving the talent, the experience, the development with the kids that are here so that moving forward, there's not a single kid in the state of Arizona that wants to leave to play elsewhere because they know that the grass is not greener anywhere else because they have the absolute best hockey experience in the country right here in Arizona.
Fantastic.
That's what I want.
Yeah, I think it's possible too, based on everything we've seen. Well, before we wrap up here, I just want to remind everybody to check out BetMGM. If you haven't downloaded the BetMGM app yet, you can sign up with the bonus code PHNX and place your first BetMGM Sportsbook wager through the BetMGM Sportsbook mobile application of at least $10 to receive $200 instantly in additional winnings, regardless of your wager's outcome. If you want to throw a little money on the Yotes game tomorrow night against the Kraken or whatever it is you want to bet on, you can check out the show notes for full details. And now you can listen to Shane talk about the disclaimer.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Colorado, D.C., Illinois, Indiana, Kansas, Louisiana, Maryland, Mississippi, New Jersey, Nevada, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Virginia, West Virginia, Wyoming. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369 New York. Call 1-800-327-5050 Massachusetts. 21 plus to wager. Please gamble responsibly. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP Arizona. 1-800-BETS-OFF Iowa. 1-800-270-7117 for confidential help Michigan. 1-800-981-0023 Puerto Rico in partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. U.S. promotional offers not available in D.C., New York, or Ontario.
So once a month we have a PHNX staff meeting, and we're really excited because our meeting tomorrow is at a very cool place.
The putting world can't wait. First of all, because I don't have to walk very far inside. Like if we had to go real golf, no. So it's less. It's inside. So that's check box number 2, and number 3, it's close to my house, and they serve beer. It checks literally every box at
They
Putting
have a
World.
bar and they have food.
Can't wait.
Just want to remind you that there's a game tomorrow night. Okay.
Yeah, HK about the game. I'm going to Putting World. That's the only game that matters, and Saul will be there.
You don't have to worry about it.
Saul's going to be there.
Saul, you're on my team, right?
Well, you want Saul on your team, but
Yes.
he competes at it. Like dodgeball. People are getting hurt with Saul. Like he's fired up. Pickleball, buddy.
Oh my god.
Saul in his Putting World. I don't know what he's going to do.
What's
Full
cool?
contact
What's cool
putting.
about Putting
What
World
is?
it's good for beginners and it's good for experts. Sometimes you
Neither of those.
And you're, what do you mean? What are
Neither
you?
of those. I don't know.
Intermediate?
Intermediate.
Great for intermediate too.
Perfect.
There you go. If you've never been to Putting World in Scottsdale, check it out. You can go to puttingworld.com and be on the lookout for a PHNX and Putting World event coming soon. So really looking forward to that. And of course, we invite you all to become a diehard over at gophnx.com. Craig's prospect report later in the week.
Yep. Story on the Rivalry Series tomorrow.
Yes.
And a feature on Miko Matika, Coyotes prospect. Will be coming here this weekend.
There's a lot of good hockey stuff.
The Denver. Yeah,
There's
Denver
a lot
is
of great opportunities to
huge
watch
this
hockey
weekend.
this week. Wow.
Huge series.
Great week for
we should
hockey
talk to
at
Greg
Mullett.
Powers.
Oh,
In fact, he's going to be on the show on Wednesday. So.
Yeah, teed that up for you, Craig. Putting
good
golf.
stuff.
Nice.
Good stuff. We'll become a diehard today and join the family, join our Discord, get 20% off merch and events. It's a great time to become a diehard, and it makes me really happy to see a lot of our diehards going to the Rivalry Series game Wednesday. I've had diehards DM me on Twitter, like, where do you think the best seats are? So we know we have a lot of people going.
Behind the Canadian goal.
Yeah.
Because that's where you're going to see the most goals scored. USA.
All right. Well, that's it from us today. Lyndsey, thank you so much for stopping by. So great to catch up with you. As always, it felt overdue. So we're happy to have you in. And everybody here in our chat watching live or listening on audio or watching the playback, we appreciate you. Give us a thumbs up on the video. And if you're listening on audio, hit the 5-star button and give us a 5-star review wherever you get your podcast. We'd appreciate it. Follow the show at PHNX_Coyotes on Twitter. We're so close to 6,000 followers, 23 followers away right now. So
close.
Do that, and we'll be back live tomorrow for our post-game show after the Coyotes take on Seattle Kraken. But until then, enjoy the rest of your Monday, everyone, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
We all silly like the mayor.